So, hello everyone, here I am with today's editorial, that is of 1st September 2021. Before we move further on to read the editorial, let us have a quick glance over the vocabulary words that we are going to come across in this session. The first one is a phrase, that is Pyrrhic victory. It means one to greater cause to have been worthwhile for the victory. So, it means a victory for which you have made a lot of sacrifice, but the victory did not worth that much. So, next one is counterproductive. That means having the opposite of desired effect. So, something turns out to be the other way around, the way you did not uh, assume that it would turn out. Next one is leverage. It means where exertion of force by means of a lever. So, using this diagram, I will explain the meaning. So, here a brick is being trying to be lifted up. So, here a stick is being used, and when you apply force here, then you can pick this up. So, this is basically what is called a leverage. Next is shackles. A pair of fitters, that is these, connected together by a chain. So this is used to fasten prisoners ankles together. So next one is ceasefire. It means a temporary suspension of fighting. So suspension is basically a break or stop, a stoppage in between. So while there's a fighting going on, a break in between can be called as ceasefire, and mostly happens after some sort of discussion and agreement. Next is insurgency. That means an active revolt or uprising. Next is resurgence, an increase or revival after a period of little activity, popularity, or occurrence. So something that occurs after a period of time, uh, that is called a resurgence. And but this time it is, the intensity or the magnitude is more than the last time. Emboldened, give someone the courage and confidence to do something. Is basically to support someone and to back someone up, in order to increase their confidence and courage and motivate them to do something. It is basically to bolster them. Next is tactically, in a way that relates to actions carefully planned to gain a specific end. So that means to use your tactics and plan things in a specific way or manner, to achieve or gain a specific end that you are eyeing on. Next is affiliate. It means officially a touch of connect or to an organization. So basically it means you are connected to an organization, that is affiliate. Next is haven. It means a place of safety or refuge. So it's a place where people are when people when there's a civil war, a sort of war is going on in a country, where are so many refugees, and the place where they go and take shelter, that is called a haven. Now let us begin to read the editorial. Pyrrhic victory. So that means a victory that has costed a lot, but it did not worth that much. Religious extremism, militancy in Afghanistan will be counterproductive for Pakistan. So here it's saying that this religious extremism, militancy in Afghanistan. So here it basically talking about the rule of Taliban, where they are going to follow a specific religious code, that is of Sharia law, and militancy because they are a terrorist group, so they have a lot of ammunition. So this will be counterproductive for Pakistan. That means what Pakistan was desiring for, it will not be the way. Counterproductive is having the opposite of the desired effect. So it will not turn out, this extremism of religion and militancy in Afghanistan will not be beneficial, or will not give the desired effect that Pakistan was eyeing for. Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan was the first world leader who wholeheartedly welcomed the Taliban's capture of Kabul on August 15 before its fall. Pakistan had maintained that it had little leverage on Taliban to force them to accept a ceasefire, and that it backed a political solution in Afghanistan. So here it's saying that when on August 15, when Taliban captured the capital city, that was Kabul, Pakistan was one of the first countries to appreciate and wholeheartedly welcome them to rule Afghanistan. And before August 15 and in the previous years, Pakistan had maintained little leverage. That means little control or little grip on Taliban to force them to accept a ceasefire, and that it backed a political solution in Afghanistan. So that they backed them to convince them to have a ceasefire, that is stop the war that was going on while US was there, so that the US would think that everything is peaceful in Afghanistan, and now when they would leave it, then they would back the Taliban. That is, the Pakistan would back Afghanistan Taliban and help them gain political power. However, on August 16, he said, Afghans have broken the shackles of slavery, leaving little doubt on whether Pakistan stands on Taliban's return. So here it's saying that on 16th of August, the Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan said that Afghans have broken shackles of slavery. Shackles was basically this thing that was used to fast around a prisoner's hand. So he's trying to say that the Afghans have become free of slavery. That is, now that the Americans have gone and the Taliban is in power, they are free. The Afghans are free. And so, yeah. This is hardly so. This statements clarifies that Pakistan is supporting Taliban. So leaving little doubt on whether Pakistan stands on Taliban return. So it is making it absolutely clear that Pakistan is supporting Taliban. This is hardly surprising. Pakistan not only played a central role in Taliban's rise to power in 1990s, but was also one of the 3 countries to have had formal diplomatic ties with them. So in the 1990s, when Taliban had rose to power, Pakistan had a very crucial or vital role in that, and also Pakistan is one of the 3 countries who had very good diplomatic ties with Afghanistan. Pakistan continued to support the Taliban even after they were driven out of power by US in 2001. So here it's saying, even when the US militants came to Afghanistan, then the Prime Minister, President of US, that is John Bush, started out the war on terror, after the World Trade Center was bombed, and they eyed on eliminating all the terrorist groups that existed around the world, and their main focus was Al-Qaeda, which existed in Afghanistan at that time, Afghanistan-Pakistan border. So even when the US militants came into Afghanistan and Taliban was no more in power, still Pakistan supported the Taliban. Its strategic calculus was that a stable Afghanistan backed by US and India would harm its core interest. So it is saying that Afghanistan, which had US militants and which was backed by Indian government, would not be beneficial or would not meet the interest of Pakistan in that time. That's why it always supported Taliban and wanted it to come in power. It hosted the Taliban leadership in Quetta, Balochistan, and allowed their militants to regroup and resume insurgency in Pakistan. And that's why Pakistan supported the Taliban group and made space for them to have meetings, and so that they could come together again and start an insurgency in Afghanistan. So insurgency is an active revolt or uprising. In that sense, the Taliban's capture of Kabul can be seen as a success of a long-term strategy Pakistan military establishment had adopted. But it's too early to begin celebrations. So, looking at the intentions or what Pakistan was eyeing, that is, the Taliban should come into the power, and as it was organizing meeting groups for Taliban and always backing it up even when the US was in power. So looking at its initiatives and its motives, we can say that now that the Taliban is in power, we can say that Pakistan has been successful in what it was eyeing for. So, but still, it's too early to say that Taliban, like the Pakistan, is successful, because Taliban has come into power just now, and it has not been able to establish a full to form government there, or a ruling body there. The geopolitical implications of Taliban's victory are still unclear. But irrespective of what kind of government they will establish, the resurgence of a Sunni radical jihadist group could embolden similar outfits elsewhere. So the victory of Taliban can the victory of Taliban over Afghanistan can have many effects on surrounding areas that are surrounding Muslim nations, or Islamic nations. But we cannot say what are the geopolitical implications right now, because it's unclear what is their motive right now. So, but we can surely say that the resurgence, that is the revival of Sunni radical jihadist group in Afghanistan, will influence the same, that is embolden of, that is bolster, that it will bolster other Sunni radical jihadist group in other countries to rise up. Pakistan has a problem with Tariq-e-Taliban Pakistan, the ideological twin of Taliban that has carried out deadly attacks inside Pakistan. So the way there's a Taliban in Afghanistan, there's another Taliban that is in Pakistan, that is called Tehreek-e-Taliban, Taliban Pakistan. So this Pakistan, although Pakistan supports the Taliban that is in Taliban, but it is firmly against the one that exists in Pakistan, because that one is carrying out a lot of bombing inside Pakistan and causing chaos and like causing chaos. Also, the August 26 Kabul blast are warning of what is awaiting Afghanistan. So the 26th Kabul blast, that was on Kabul airport, there were two bombings, one after the other, just a few moments apart. This is a symbol, or a prior notice that what is going to happen in Afghanistan is something like this. The country is still chaotic and lawless, where groups such as Islamic State Khorasan province, that is ISK, the IS affiliate that has claimed responsibility of the blast, would seek to flourish. So this here, the Khorasan group, the one that is being talked about, Islamic State Khorasan, is existing. And now if you look, the current Afghanistan has no government, it is lawless, and there are other military groups that are existing, or terrorist groups that are thriving and are establishing, such as Khorasan, and it has claimed that we were the ones who had bombed the Kabul airport. So this Taliban government is providing other terrorist groups up space to thrive and establish themselves. Without order, the country could fall into directional civil war between the Taliban, the ISK, and the remnants of other regimes. So here it's saying, now that the Afghanistan has no government and only small parties or terrorist groups ruling, there can be a civil war between the Taliban, the Khorasan groups, and other remnants of other groups, such as the Northern Alliance, or although the Al Qaeda doesn't exist now, but many other groups, terrorist groups that are there, and that can lead into a civil war inside the country. The question is whether Pakistan, overwhelmed by Taliban's success, sees the possible dangers of triumph of hardline Islamism now poses. So here it's saying that is the Pakistan able to see what threat lies ahead in Pakistan and in the neighboring countries, because civil war can happen, and as they are going to follow strict Sharia law, so what harm will it cause, how it is going to affect the women and the lives of children. So is the Pakistan able to see that religious extremism and militancy can help one country tactically, but counterproductive in a long term? So this religious extremism and military rule can help a country for the short term and help it establish, but for the long term it's not good. It's going to cost them a lot. When the US backed the Mujahideen in the 1980s, it might never have been imagined that the Taliban would rise from Mujahideen and host the Al Qaeda that would carry out the deadliest attack on America since the Second World War. So it's saying when in the 1980s, the Russians were, the USSR was trying to help then the government, and then US was thinking that the USSR would also capture Afghanistan and would become more powerful. So USA supplied the youth that were called the Mujahideens with ammunition so that they could fight the USSR. And but no one imagined that these Mujahideen would later on form the Taliban that is now, and the Taliban would support the Al Qaeda group, which would attack the US itself. So they would attack the US's World Trade Center, that were the two most highest and the most prominent buildings of US, and would cause such great loss to US. So no one imagined that US was trying to help them, although for its own benefit, but the same people would attack US. Similarly, a chaotic Afghanistan ruled by extremist Islamists is as much as geopolitical victory as a security and strategic challenge to Pakistan. So, in the same way, currently Pakistan is trying to help the Taliban, but at the same time, it is not conscious that the Taliban is causing a security and strategic challenge to Pakistan, because a lot of bombing here or on the borders is going to affect Pakistan a lot. And if the Taliban become more powerful, they can even attack Pakistan. So it will be it will only affect Pakistan. So it is like a vicious cycle. The Pakistan was trying to help them, but it costed them a lot, and now they are in trouble. During the insurgency, Pakistan refused to use its leverage over the Taliban for peace. So, during this insurgency, when there was a lot of active revolt and uprising, Pakistan had that power to hold the Taliban into grip and ask or demand them or request them to maintain peace. But it did not do that. It should do so at least now, because a stable Afghanistan which treats its people with dignity and does not provide safe havens to transition terrorist organization is in best interest of all regional power, including Pakistan. So, although at that time when it was just beginning, Pakistan did not do anything, but now it should at least, because we want Afghanistan which provides or allows its people to live with dignity. Not people does not only include men but also women. They should not be forced to cover their body all with clothes, and should be allowed to have proper education, to have proper health facilities, and should be allowed to go out alone. And also it should not provide havens, that means a place or safety or refugee place for transitional terrorist organization. And we don't want that Afghanistan should be a base for all the terrorist organizations, because this is going to be the best thing for all the regional powers, including Pakistan. That is, this step or this an Afghanistan that has been mentioned here would be the best option for any country living or any country residing on the borders of Afghanistan. So that was the article today, and thank you everyone.